Okay. So for yesterday, I watched A2 IELTS and found that I want to do the IELTS writing task one, but I forget to, upload the video, click the what record video. So I didn't do that, but of course I already marked some note with that. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do when you do the IELTS test is that when there are several 4 criteria for you to do, and those criteria is like a range of your vocabulary, how accurate and why you use in grammar, how fluency and of structure, and finally how accurate they are. So like this. Okay.
Just 7.5 for writing. It was incredibly frustrating.
I'm gonna skip it because I already watched that before, and yeah.
Are you just writing compound sentences? The cat ate the dog. So
Task achievement, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource and grammatical length and accuracy. Okay, so this for the all I can summary is that you need to first thing you need to give a minute to understand what the task is about, and then you just the first structure of the your first paragraph is you need to write the overview of not overview. The first thing that you need to do is not translate. How to say this one? Please excuse me for a while. I don't know how to say that, but use the synonym to change the words. Instruction words. In IELTS, they can be like, this say the chart below shows number of men and women in further education in Britain in 3 periods, and whether they will study full-time or part-time, right? Well, this guy just changed the chart into the bar chart and shows into illustrates the number of male and females. Is to use each change men and women to be male and females to make some synonym. Engage in further education in British. It is actually the same structure. So whatever they will study full-time or part-time is divided into 3 periods. And that's pretty good.
Studying
for me, it's going to be like 3 decades.
Full-time or part-time.
Anyway, and the second thing you need to mark down is that you need to mark the key feature. The overview. This is totally obvious that the number of full-time education is less than part-time education significantly. Also in male or female, it's not definitely much, but there are some thing like female have some exponential growth, but while female just like fluctuate, right? Fluctuation. I don't know how to spell this. Fluctuation. Yeah, this one.
Fluctuation.
Fluctuations. And about the full-time job is slightly increased, but it's like jumped in the first place and then slightly increased at the male. The most important thing is that you don't need to use this. You should not use the same words. If you're capable to use variety of words, just use it. But if you're not guaranteed that is the correct answer, you should not try to put it the answer sheet. Okay, so
here's mine, and I want you to read.
For task 1, I guess. Yeah, I was watching it like in midnight, so I quite don't understand what he said, but yeah, this is all I can summary for you. And the final thing is that you need to use the conjunction to make the perfect sentence. For instance, um, meanwhile, or maybe like why, right? He used the different words, but made the same, like why and meanwhile, yeah.
Because what we'll do.
This is all, I think. Okay, so today I'm gonna watch the IELTS, the 5-step study plan. And I think it's very important to know this one because
Hi.
What
Welcome
happened?
to English.com.
So-
I'm Adam.
okay.
Today we're going to look at an IELTS study plan. And as usual, when I look at IELTS or TOEFL or any of the tests, I'm going to speak a little bit faster. So those of you taking the test can get a little bit more listening practice. And everybody else, this is very good practice for you as well to listen to slightly faster English.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at IELTS. And for those of you who are just starting to prepare, starting to think about
Oh, sorry.
you're just starting out, you just signed up for the test, now you need to start preparing for it. So here's a 5-point study plan. And number 1 is the most important part because, and I'll tell you in a minute why. Know the test. Now, what does this mean? It means that you have to know exactly what you're about to face. I've met many test takers who've taken the test maybe several times, and the first 2 or 3 times they got a really low score because they still didn't really know what was coming, right? They didn't understand how the test is structured, what the timing is like, all of these things. So, know the test means know the structure. There are 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, speaking. Make sure you know how each of them works, how much time is going to be used for each one. In the listening section, you have 4 sections. In the reading section, you have 3 passages to read. In the writing sections, you have 2 tasks that you have to complete. In the speaking section, you're going to be speaking with a native English speaker, face-to-face, one-on-one, for about 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Make sure you know exactly what they're going to be asking you, what you're going to be expected to answer back. Okay? So know the structure of the test. Know the timing. You have 40 minutes roughly for the listening section, including a 10-minute time allotment for copying your answers from the question sheet to an answer sheet. This is very, very important. Know what to do that. If you finish writing your answers on your answer sheet before the 10 minutes are up, you can't go to the reading section. You have to sit and wait, close your eyes, relax, etc. Make sure you know the question types that you're going to face in the listening and the reading and the writing, of course, and the speaking. Knowing the question types will make sure that you aren't surprised by anything, okay? You do not want to have surprises on test day. Know the question
No, I
types.
didn't say anything about that, but from my experience, question types is, I don't know, seems useless, but
Prepare for them. Begin to think about how to answer them, okay? Make sure you know all the directions. Every section of the test will have its own set of directions. Do not spend time reading these or listening to these during the test. You should know all the directions long beforehand. You should memorize them. That way you don't spend time reading them. You go straight to the task at hand, okay? So know the test very well. Now, the best way to actually know the test is to practice taking the test. Practice the test. Now, I don't mean do like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes here. I want you to sit down at least once a week from the time you registered or started thinking about it until the actual test day. There are lots of places where you can get full practice tests. The Cambridge books are excellent for that. They're past papers, so they're real tests. Make sure that you do a full test at least once a week, from beginning to the end. Give yourself 3 full hours.
I think Cambridge book. It's a very long time though. Recommend book is good, but I don't know. I mean, I don't like doing the test, but yeah, I need to do that in the future. Otherwise, I cannot do IELTS. Probably. Okay.
Distracted. Now, what does this mean? When you go to the official test center, you cannot take your phone in with you. You do not have internet, you do not have music, you do not have anything. You have you in a room with a bunch of other people. The listening is for everybody, it's on the speakers, and the reading and the writing, everything is by yourself, quiet, in a quiet room. Get used to this situation, okay? I want you to take the full test, start to finish, undistracted. Lock yourself in a room every Saturday morning, for example. Tell all your friends and your family not to disturb you. Leave your phone outside the room. Don't even take it inside with you. And do it exactly as you would on test day. Get used to that way of doing things. Now, if you do the full practice test a few times before the real test, then you will also understand what it's like to sit for 3 hours, or at least 2 hours and 40 minutes, and focus on the test. Now, the speaking section may be a few minutes after the paper test. It may be a few hours later. It may be the next day. Get used to that idea. But
I think tomorrow, after I come back from military training, I'm going to do that.
learn to
from like I don't know 8 to 6 to 10
focus
probably.
for a long stretch of time on
We
English.
still have a lot of time
Speaking.
during this
Now,
time.
speaking is a little bit difficult because you're not going to have somebody to interview. But
well, maybe
get one of your friends or even get online. You can get some people just to say the questions. Get somebody to feed you the questions and just practice answering them.
Well,
Record yourself. Record
I don't
the
have
answers
any
and then listen
chat online,
and try to give yourself feedback.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about feedback in a minute.
But
Okay,
I have
next, you're going to
my
have to
friend, but I think I'm
strategize.
gonna
What does this mean? It means create a strategy for yourself in what scores you need and what your overall objectives are. So, start by knowing the scores you need, overall and individually. So let me give you an example. You have person A and person B. Let's say person C too. Each of you needs different things. One of you needs an overall 6.5. That's it. Doesn't matter what you get in each individual section. Overall, you need a 6.5. Person B needs an overall of 7 with a minimum of 7 in each category, in each section. And person A needs a 7.5 overall or a 7 overall, but a minimum 7.5 in writing and reading. Okay? These are just examples. There's all sorts of combinations. Now, first of all, how do you know what score you need? Well, if you're applying to university, if you're applying to university, go to the website of the department or the faculty you're applying to. They will tell you exactly what scores you need. If you're applying for immigration, go to the government website of the country you're applying to. They will tell you what scores you need. And if you need overall scores or if you need individual section scores. Now, once you know the overall score or the particular things you need, then you can create a strategy. So let's say you need an overall 7 band, 7.0 band. And it doesn't matter what you get in each section. This gives you a lot of opportunities because if you're a very weak writer, for example, then you can aim for a 6 in the writing section. You can then aim for an 8 in the reading section, and your overall will be 7, assuming you got 7 or higher in speaking and listening. If you don't need individual scores, then you can play with the different categories and you can focus your energy. Basically, you can focus your energy on your strong sections, on your strong skills, and just do enough in your weak skills and then get your average.
Okay. My weak point, right? I think my weakest point is the listening. Well, I mean, listening part is not that bad, but I cannot spell the answer correctly, and yeah.
But If you need specific scores, then those are the sections you're going to start working the hardest on. Now, person A needs a 7.5 in writing. For most people who take this test, and you can even find research on the IELTS website that will confirm this, most people that take the IELTS test score the lowest in the writing section. This is the hardest of the 4 skills.
Yeah.
If you need a high writing score, then start working on your writing first. Before you practice listening, before you practice reading, before you practice speaking, start working on your
Okay, so seems like
writing, because that is
the
going to
individual
take you the
like-
longest time to improve your score on, to get the skills you need and to get the structures you need, etc., the vocabulary. If you need, for example, the highest score in listening, which is not really common, but it happens. If you need the highest score in listening, start listening all the time to English,
course.
TV shows, radio shows. But especially start listening to actual IELTS content, IELTS listening practice exercises and practice tests. Okay? Okay. Basically know where the scores are you need. So that I mentioned that. Focus on the sections that are weakest first, and make sure you mentioned that. Focus on the sections that are weakest first, and make sure you make up with the strongest for those. Have a plan for reading. Now, the reading section, again, you're going to be given 3 passages to read with a total of 40 questions about those passages. Have a plan. Most people can't go to the test and read the entire passage and then answer the question. There are different strategies. If you look on Ingvid in the search box, you'll find videos on different ways to approach the reading section and a lot of other videos on how to deal with all of these sections. But very, very important that you have a plan for reading. Very, very important that you practice your writing skills. Those are the 2 hardest sections on the test.
Yeah.
As far as the
Most people
speaking
don't do
section,
well in the reading part.
it's not so much about whether you can speak well or not. It's how
I
comfortable
agree with
are you with a live interview.
But
If you're not very comfortable,
personally, I think my grammar is quite bad, and it doesn't matter if you write things clearly or not. I think I'll show you something that I already write for a long time ago, like this. No, this one. Oh, okay, let's see this one. You know the books that called, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the happiness hypothesis, but this is the girl book about the psychology and how, like, the things. This is what I'm trying to say, and my structure is pretty bad, and this is like 3 hours to get it like this. Yeah, I think I think my speed to write is not that bad. I think allow this one. Let me check first to see like how worse I am in grammar.
make sure you have some practice with a native speaker. Ask somebody to help you maybe do the test, or just go speak to native speakers. Get that fear out of your system long before the test. I've met many test takers who spoke very, very good English.
Happiness.
They go to the test,
Oh.
their official test day, and they get like a 6 or 6.5, and they need like a 7 or 7.5. And I say, what happened? You're such a good speaker. I panicked.
Actually,
I got
follow
scared.
by
The interviewer didn't
by-
smile.
Okay.
Okay, they're not all going to smile. Some of them are actually going to be quite mean to you. They're not going to be friendly at all. Get over it. If you know how to speak, speak. If you don't know how to speak, practice. Practice with anybody you can, long before test day. Create an idea bank. Now, this is very important for writing and speaking. Mean to
Get the fuck up, man.
yourself
I'm just kidding.
for the reading section. You have to sit and and questions and ideas and examples for different topics. For example, in the writing section, there's going to be there's a very good chance you'll get a question about, like, your essay question about education or technology or health, etc. There's a few of these topics. Have all your ideas planned before test day. Write yourself a bunch of words related to education. Think up of different questions, or get online or get books. Create yourself a list of possible questions about education, and study all of these and practice writing a few essays before test day. You can also use the idea bank for the speaking. You'll have all kinds of different topics they're going to ask you about. Don't try to think in the moment.
The exam.
You might panic, you might lose focus. Your test is done.
Right.
Have a lot of ideas ready in your head. When they ask you about it, you're ready to go.
Okay.
Strategy, you know what you need to think about. This test, you know. Okay, we're going to look at a couple more things that you need to think.
Know your score you need. So for my score I need is just like 7 overall, and I don't think it's much. But unfortunately for the listening part, I can do like 6.5 or maybe 6, and it depends on the question. So, and it's quite hard to do. So I think I can do the speaking part, and listening I can do like 6.5 to 6. Writing, well, although this is the hardest skills of all four, but I think I'm gonna do like 7 or to 8 to keep it down. And reading, I think just 7 is fine. Yeah. And speaking test is quite hard for me. Like, I use a lot of I use a lot of like. It just that's not necessarily to put in there, but from my own experience, I think the speaking to speak naturally, you need to speak natural, not to speak fluency, to speak fluency enough to make people believe that you are the native speaker. You need to know the basic of the speaking test.
Think about it. Yes, you know exactly what you're going to be looking at.
How people speak in the speaking test and like copy them.
You questions and still get the score you need.
I don't recommend you to do because it's just going to speak. But
ask.
For me, I think it is important.
And I know that they're good writers. They're good enough writers.
Yeah, I just introvert and I don't have many friends to talk with
before the test day. Yeah. Okay, we're going to look at a couple more things that you need to think about.
Okay, so after the two things later is the practice and feedback. Read every day, listening, writing everywhere. Yeah, read every day. I think that's fine. Listening every day is fine. Write every day and speak every day. That is quite hard for me. I mean, read every day is, this is my number of days that I usually do. This is right now, of course. Right now I'm a YouTuber, right? I'm gonna show you this one. I think it's very important to read this because I in love with computer science, and yeah, right now I'm in love. So currently I read a triangular theory of love. Yeah, very fascinating research. And yeah, if I have a time, I will talk with them, with you.
All right, so now
I
you
know.
know what's coming.
Like
You
3
you've done a
years
few
later,
practice tests. You
yes.
know exactly what you're going to be looking at. Now you know what's more.
Let me finish.
You know things that you
what's
need
this?
to think about.
Okay. Read to like this skill is very important to everyone, right? But as Thai people, we don't usually speak and we don't usually write every day since we are in high school and we don't have time to do so. Okay, as I in a project management, turn on English play. Day and night before sleep, eat what the fuck.
All right,
Eat
so
what-
now
eat that-
you know what's
eat
coming.
Russian, etc.
Many people get low scores because the graders probably couldn't read what they wrote. If the graders can't read it, they can't score it, and your score is going down. Okay.
Okay.
If you have messy handwriting, practice cleaning it up.
Huh.
Try
I use
not
the
to write in
calculator because I know
script.
my handwriting
If your
is like
script is
suck.
messy, change to block letters.
Yeah, like,
Start
I don't
practicing
like this.
writing in a different style, in a more
So,
legible style. Because
I have another way
when you
to
go
do
on the
it.
test day,
This is like-
if you haven't practiced, that'll
So
cut
this
down
is
your
that.
time. It'll slow you down. Make sure you practice that as well. Now, keep in mind that reading and listening are passive skills. That means the English is coming into you and you process it and you answer the questions. It's much easier than speaking and writing, which are active skills, where you have to produce the English and then you have to express it. Here, it's coming in, you process, you do. Here, you process, you create, and then you express.
Yeah, I mean,
Very different
passive is
approaches, much more difficult. So you
English
need much more
perspective by
practice.
listening and
Now,
reading.
ideally, you will get feedback, especially on these. Reading and listening, if you get a practice material, usually it will come with an answer sheet, an answer key. So you can check by yourself where you did wrong, what you got right, what you got right, where you... Basically,
Yeah, okay.
10 times. If you need practice, don't do it at the official test center. Get a book, do the practice at home, SAT, ability. Don't do practice exercises, don't read anything too complicated. Read a comic book, read a
But
your brain's already ready for the English that's coming to it, okay? The day before, the night before. Go to sleep at a proper time, get a full night's sleep, be fresh the day of the test. If you're a coffee drinker, have your coffee earlier and don't drink another coffee before you get to the test. Coffee will bring you up, but then it'll bring you back down halfway through the test and you'll lose focus, okay? Eat protein, egg, whatever protein.
that is come out in the video. Like, be ready for everything that will coming soon. Yeah, I think that's all that I need to do. Okay, so my plan is that I need to do the writing task, like, I don't know, 1 per day probably. I mean, I already watched the E2 IELTS to every single sections. In listening part, no, except the listening part. I mean, I do the writing part. Well, wait a minute. I think I have left the task to one and writing. I think I do all of them. Listening part, not part. Sorry. Listening in both 3 sections. I already hit that pretty much. Speaking of which, I didn't about like task 2 and task 3. Yeah, I didn't practice anything about that. And the final thing that I want to do is that the writing. But writing is, just have like 2 sections, but you need to practice a lot. So, for our plan is that, I don't know. Okay, I think I gotta do today or maybe tomorrow, but today I gonna listen the listening of the listening part if I could, maybe like speaking for task 2 and task 3, and finally is the writing in task 2. to finishing all the tests before and get the full and the Friday I'm gonna do the full examinations, and after that we will see the score together and see like why the fuck I'm fucking sucks, something like that. I know. Okay, so that's all for today. I think. See you all.